Hello YouTube and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I'm Alice Seraphin and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Hi! This is Paper Pumpkin Alternative Video number 13, part 2 of March 2023's Paper Pumpkin called 10 Years of Growth. It's a botanical themed paper pumpkin and we're at the finish line, ready to cross. So this was the flyer sheet for Paper Pumpkin. You know, I haven't done one of those. Just kind of, I enjoy the creative process of doing my own thing with these kits. I can't tell you how much I enjoy it. I just do. So next month's April's kit will be a stained glass theme. Really looking forward to the color combinations, as this one has, I absolutely have had a ball with this one. So you can tell that I didn't write much for part 2's right here. Didn't write a whole lot for that because it's the same as part 1 except for the card base from the kit that we're using. So I'll go over those again for you. And then we're going to join these cards together. So we have a soft suede card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We have a piece of crumb cake, 4 by 5 1/4, embossed with the timber embossing folder. We have a piece of shaded spruce, like close to, like I have like one little sheet I think left of the shaded spruce. That's it, one little piece like this. Okay, 3 3/4 by 5, stamped with Whisper White ink is what we're gonna do. We are going to use crumb cake and a sponge dauber. And the card, what part of the kit we're using this card base, and we're using this grouping, and I'll tell you what pieces we used in this little flower pot. What have I added to this? I added the, not sure, yes we did, Forever Flourishing Dies. It is this one with these little loopy things in it, the timber embossing folder, voila. And throughout this whole thing I have used the Splendid Stem dies. So let's get started. We're going to start by cutting, let's start by stamping, because it's Whisper White or Basic White, whatever you got. Mine is an old one, not getting rid of it. It's still going strong. So we are going to do the same pattern as we did. This was part 1's card. So we're going to do that same pattern in Q-tip technique, as I call it. So we're going to come right here. We're going to walk it up. We're going to come right here. We're going to walk it up. Now we're going to do a little bit at the bottom. We're going to go that way. And I'm trying to see the card base to see how much more. No, we don't need to add anything in the center. But here is my Q-tip. I'm just tapping it down in it, and I'm going to start dotting with the Q-tip. I think it's kind of fun. You can control how big or how small you want the Q-tips by how hard you push down. So it is totally up to you, but it's a great way to make little polka dots and add a bit of texture like that. So, and you can use not just the craft ink, I used it for other inks too. So that's done, but I'm going to use those again in part 3. So we're going to set this aside to dry, and we are going to work on cutting down. Yes, we are going to cut down. I'm like, do we want to sponge first? No, we want to cut this. So I'm going to cut my card base apart. Right on that score line. I'm going to put this in my white scrap basket. And now I'm going to work on trimming this even farther. And the pieces I cut off here are also going to go in my white scrap basket. So there we go. I'm going to turn it all the way this way. going to take a look. That looks pretty well even. So that way it's at 3. Okay, let's make it 3 1/4, right? Nope, I'm just going to leave it as is. It's like a hair over, but I'm going to leave it like it is. So there's the bottom. So it's very close to 3 1/4. And it's very close to 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. It is going to be 4 5/8. So these bits, scrap basket. Now this piece here is going to actually stay like that for a moment. And we're going to do some sponging on the timber embossing folder, just like we did before. We're going to need to add some ink. I was testing it out, but it looks like we need to add some more ink. So we just need to go around the outside. Just like the sponge, the daubers with around the entire outside. And there's no real, you can do little swirls. You can do this however you want. Just rub some of that ink on there. And then I'm going to go, I can do little swirls. I'm going to turn it around. And just so that we can cover up the edges. So next, I know that this was a bit challenging for myself, so I'm going to save myself the trouble. That's going to go just like that. I'm going to put tear tape on this one, just, to change it up. I'm going to flip her over, get some 1/4 inch pieces of tear tape. Yep. There. There. Piece in the center, on the outside. Now a piece down the center a bit, just so that it will stay down. Now I'm going to use my beautiful pokey tool from Miss Gloria Wolf. If you are interested in purchasing your own pokey tool from Miss Gloria Wolf, she ships these all over the country, guys. I can give you her contact information. So you have to let me know. I myself am ordering several from her. I got some friends that are crafty I'd like to give them to. So now we are going to plop that right down on, yes, because it's a little warpy from the embossing. Now where's my card base? So this card base, don't get ahead of yourself. This card base needs to open in the reverse direction. So this one needs to go like so. Okay, so it needs to open going the reverse direction of what we normally do, and it is important or these won't join together the way they're meant to. So now I'm going to add the glue. Kind of doing the swirls and rubbing it into the grooves because I want to make sure it sticks really well. But I want this wiggle room. That's why I'm not using the tape. But what I am going to do is once I get it where I want it, I'm going to turn her over and give it a good rub down. Helping to, we can even use a bone folder, spread out that glue on the back of there. So now that it is going in the opposite direction, okay, well, that's not a mistake. That's the way it's meant to be. This now gets to get glued right down there. And this, of course, can be done with the wet glue also. Not as much. We don't need nearly as much wet glue for a flat piece. But oh, is it ever pretty. So next is our arrangement of flowers. So this green piece here, the Splendid Stem dies. This Orchid Oasis piece, Blended Stems. The pink is the Flourish Forever Flourishing dies. This Coastal Cabana piece is from our kit. This gold foil is from the Splendid Stems, and this little part of the pink is from the Forever Flourishings. I split that one in half, and if you've seen my other videos, you'll know exactly how I put this together. So I'm coming in here in the back and adding glue where I can, so this will stay down. And I'm gluing it right there. I'm gonna give it a minute. I don't want it to go anywhere. And now that it's in place, I can add a little bit of glue to tack things all the way down. I'm gonna hold that in place, just give it a second. Then we're gonna do our little flower pot. We're gonna do this little flower pot the same exact way we did the one on the front. So we're gonna set this aside. Give me my little scratch paper. So I'm gonna take this and I am gonna rub the Orchid Oasis, which I have not re-inked, all over my wee little flower pot, and it is tiny, guys. Then I'm going to grab my Shaded Spruce that I have not re-inked, and I'm going to flick around the edges of it. So this one is going to tie in with the one on the front. Same thing we've done to it. Now this one, we are going to go ahead and put on with dimensionals, and I'm going to add 3 to this one, I think, just because, maybe 2. I think all it needs is 2. One here, let's see, needs one right about here and one there. So I said one here and one there for sure. So I want one here, and then I'm going to put this one right there. Alrighty. And then our little flower pot is in its rightful place. So this needs a bit of tacking down. So put there. I do tend to wait until I absolutely know where I need it. And now, what gems do I use? I know we're going to use this faux sea glass that I've been using during this kit. And we're going to put some up along here. I start with the large one, roughly about right there. And then I'm going to move on to like a little medium size one. And I'm using the ones that are the closest colors to Coastal Cabana. I want different sizes here. We're putting them on a shelf there, and this one. Okay, that's just a little bit of focal point. I'm thinking maybe a gem here and maybe a gem right there. So let's see what we have we can do. I kind of like the idea of this one. Oh, yeah, I really like that. And then a focal point of some kind. Let's see if these will work. Don't know why these are tacked down. I'm gonna take it off. Thought maybe I'd lay it on its side. I like that. So let's do that. Gonna lay it on its side. Oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. And do I put anything else on there for the moment? Oh, I don't think so. I'm going to leave that like that. Like they're little focal points on a shelf, a little sparkle and bubble. So that will conclude part 2. Now I'm going to get off this video and get part 3 going on how we're going to combine these in the belly band that is going to combine them. So I will see you again soon. And these cards will stand alone as a card themselves if you don't want to combine them. I just wanted to do a big finale, if you will, for the end of this paper pumpkin because I have had such a terrific time doing so. So I will see you again in a few in part 3. So come back and see that in my Wonderland. Bye-bye now.